Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily topic-wise news analysis where I'll be covering the news from two important newspapers, that is Hindu and Indian Express. So let's get started with the topic first. So today is 23rd of January and these are the list of the topic for the day. The first topic is new draft Arctic policy. This has been recently released by the government. The second important topic, that is RBI proposes regulatory framework for the NBFC, non-banking financial companies. The third topic is data theft case against the Cambridge Analytica. So Cambridge Analytica and Facebook has again been under the scanner. The second last topic is new virus variant carry high risk of death. The new mutation virus of the COVID-19. This has been reported and the official confirmation coming from the Britain Prime Minister himself. And the last topic is new framework around the caste and census. So these are some of the important topics that I'll be discussing with you today. Apart from this, there will be some MCQs question and the discussion of explanation of the answer for the yesterday questions. So without any further ado, let's get started with the first topic, that is new draft Arctic policy. Talking about the relevance of this article, this can be very relevant and very important for your general studies paper also, but precisely it can come in prelims examination. And talking about general studies, it can contribute in general studies paper 2 and general studies paper 3. So India has recently unveiled its new draft Arctic policy, among others, and it commits to expand the scientific research. The scientific research होगी that ultimately would have another leap into the in scientific arena. उसके अलावे sustainable tourism and mineral and oil gas exploration in the Arctic region. So this region has a huge potential in terms of mineral oil as well as in the gas exploration. I will show you a map in the later part of this video that will help you understand कि कौन से जगह पे कहाँ gases है और minerals हैं और इसकी potential worldwide कितनी ज़्यादा है. Now the draft policy is open for public comments until 26th of January and this has been prepared after the deliberation from the ministries. So ministries ने सारे अलग अलग ministries जो भी nodal ministries हैं या coordinating ministries हैं उनके साथ already integrate किया है. They have drafted a plan and for public comment it is open till 26th of January. Now India has launched its first scientific expedition to the Arctic in 2007. This is not new. We already had started in 2007, but the successness of the program was not very much. So in light of that, the government is coming up with a new plan that integrating all the policies like scientific research, sustainable tourism, mineral oil and gas exploration would be there. Now talking about the nodal body for the coordination, because if there is any program and policy, there has to be a nodal body. So for this program, Goa-based National Centre for Polar and Ocean Research would be the least scientific research institute as a nodal body. So this can be an important point. If you're preparing for any other competitive examination also, they can ask you this point. Now the body would be coordinating among various scientific bodies to promote the scientific research in the capacity by expanding the earth sciences. Earth sciences की capabilities को और कैसे बढ़ाई जा सकती है, जो हमारी biological sciences है उसको साथ के साथ geosciences, climate change, space related program and dovetailed Arctic imperatives in the Indian universities. So once the research activity is concluded and in meanwhile also the government of India would be also promoting it as an university program so that the overall curriculum of the people who are concerned with the earth sciences or who are studying the geosciences, they would be benefiting from this. Now what are the objective of this policy? So first, putting in place the Arctic related program for mineral and gas exploration in petroleum research institutes. So this would help the institutions in India like institution dealing with the petroleum research, minerals, oil and gas exploration. They will help them in further studies. Now encouraging tourism and hospitality sector in building the specialized capacity, awareness to engage the Arctic enterprises. और अगर आर्टिक रिसर्च की बात करें तो ये इंडियन साइंटिफिक कम्युनिटी को भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा हेल्प करेगी इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रोवाइडिंग द स्टडी मेल्टिंग रेट्स ऑफ द थर्ड पोल, हिमालयन ग्लेशियर and also endowed with the largest freshwater reservoir in the world outside the geographical poles, right? So these are some of the major objective and rationale behind this policy. Now talking about the gas exploration, this is a map which I wanted to show you. So this is a probability that finding oil and gases, this is about 50 to 100%. And you can see this map that shows that this map shows the probability of finding gas and oil in the region. So if you talk about the Arctic region, this account 13% for the undiscovered oil. अगर oil की बात की जाए, so oil accounts for 13%. And talking about the natural gases, so for natural gases we have almost 30% of the capacity which it can have, and 20% of the capacity is coming from the natural gas liquids. Like natural gas liquid would be of 20%. So this is what is mentioned here. Arctic Circle accounts for 13% of the undiscovered oils, 30% of undiscovered natural gas, and 20% of the undiscovered natural liquids, right? So this is also a graph that can help you. अगर आपसे chronology में पूछी जाती है कि किसकी exploration high है या किसकी कम है, so you can figure it out from here. Now coming to the second news, that is RBI proposes 4-tier structure for tightening the regulation. So RBI proposed a framework for the NBFC. And talking about the news, this can be important for your general studies paper 3. And NBFC as a concept has already been asked by UPSC. So anything they can ask you in terms of the prelims examination. Now in a discussion paper, RBI has recently released a discussion paper, and they have revised the regulatory framework for the NBFCs, and they have layered NBFCs into 4 structures. The first would be called as a base layer, the second would be called as middle layer, the third is upper layer, and the last is the top layer. So I will bifurcate this. I will tell you detail about each of them on the later part of this video. Before that, let's understand what is the growth of NBFCs. NBFC की क्या growth है? अगर sector की बात करें, so they have seen tremendous growth in the recent year, और in last 5 year alone the size balance of the balance sheet जो है NBFC की, including the house financial companies, जो housing financial companies हैं, they have more than doubled their amount, right? जो उनकी खास करके बैलेंस शीट है. सो अर्लियर इट यूज्ड टू बी 20.72 lakh crore rupees from 2015. Now in last 5 years it has amounted to none less than almost approximate, that is 50 lakh crore rupees. So this is 49.22 precisely. So this number I have quoted because to help you understand कि ये किस तरह से डबल हुई है इनकी अमाउंट, right? Now talking about the classification of NPAs, जो non performing assets हैं, उनकी किस तरह से classification की जाएगी नए rules के accordingly. So RBI has proposed the classification of NPAs on the base year. So this is from 180 to 90 days overdue, जो भी होंगे उनको NPAs में calculate किया जाएगा. और NBFCs in the lower layer would be known as the NBFC base layer, and NBFC in the middle layer would be known as NBFC in the middle layer. और अगर बात करें अपर लेयर की, so this is like they would have to invite the regulatory superstructures, and once the NBFC is identified as an NBL upper layer, it would be subject to enhanced regulatory requirement, and at least 4 years from them in the last appearance category would be required. Now let's see the detail about one by one layer structure, which I've told you in the beginning. There are 4 layers. The first is base layer, second is middle layer. So in base layer, if the framework is visualized as a pyramid, अगर आप एक pyramid imagine करोगे, so consider this is a base layer, this is a middle layer, this is again the upper top layer, and this would be the upper layer, right? So this is upper layer, this is top layer, this is middle layer, and this is base layer, right? So the framework is visualized as a pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid, this section is called as a regulatory invention is one and can consist of the NBFC, right? These are the least concern because NPAs यहाँ पे काफ़ी कम होती है. Now talking about the middle one, so I'll draw a diagram for you so that it is understandable to you. So see, this is a diagram for a pyramid, right? So this is like a base layer. Now we are coming to the middle layer. So this is the middle layer. So in middle layer, it consists of NBFC currently classified as systemically important NBFC, और जो deposits होंगे यहाँ पे खास करके housing finance companies या IFDCs हैं, SPDs हैं, इनके core investment companies को consider किया जाएगा. और जो regulatory regime है for this layer would be stricter compared to the base layer. तो यहाँ के अपेक्षा यहाँ norms थोड़े ज़्यादा strict होंगे. Again, in this would be more stricter and this is the most strictest, right? Now upper layer की अगर बात करें, so this layer include NBFC which have a target potential of systematic spillover the risk and ability to impact the financial stability. So if you see in the pyramid, so we already had discussed too. So this one would be the upper layer. So यहाँ पे और strictness maintain की जाएगी, और जो सबसे आखिरी layer है top layer, so they are the most riskiest and the category which needs high surveillance. So NBFC will occupy the top space. This is a top layer, and ideally this top layer pyramid would remain empty unless supervised to take the specific NBFCs. So the supervision would be required here. Or in other words, अगर बात करें तो ये जो NBFC होंगे, they would like in the upper layer as a pose extreme risk. ये categories जो होंगी, जो upper layer में आएंगी, जो top layer में आएंगी, this would be the most extreme risk category. Supervising judgment would be required, and high and Burko's regulatory supervision requirement would be there from the RBI. So RBI has categorized NBFC into 4 layers. So I've told you all 4 layers: base layer, middle layer, upper layer, and top layer. Now talking about the way forward, how the things can improve. So in view of the recent stress, it has become imperative to re-examine the sustainability of this regulatory approach. Especially अगर बात करें जिस तरह से NBFC के परफॉर्मेंस 2015 से पहले या अभी recent टाइम में भी कई जगह अच्छी नहीं रही है, so it can precipitate in a systematic risk, and the regulatory framework of the NBFC needs to be reoriented to keep pace with the changing reality in the financial sectors. Right, so this would be the way forward. Now coming to the other topic, which talks about a data theft case against Cambridge Analytica. So this talks about the theft that has already taken place in the Facebook, that already took place there in the Facebook and in the Cambridge Analytica. So this is regarding to right to privacy also. So this is important for the General Studies paper 3, and these type of cases would again be relevant for the prelims examination. They can ask you a section of it because there are 2 statement questions that can be asked from this. So the Central Bureau of Investigation have booked the Cambridge Analytica, this is from UK Limited, and the Global Science Research Limited of UK, this is GSRL, right? So GSRL has been illegally booked for harvesting the personal data about 5.2 lakh Indian users in the Facebook and their applications. तो जितने भी almost 5 जितने भी users हैं उस Facebook user में 5.62 लाख जो इंडिविजुअल्स हैं उनके पर्सनल डेटाज को कैम्ब्रिज एनालिटिका और ग्लोबल साइंस रिसर्च लिमिटेड ने एलिजिबली हार्वेस्ट किया है. दे हैव टेकन दिस डेटा. सो अर्लियर कंप्लेन वाज आल्सो देयर, एक प्रिलिमिनरी इंक्वायरीज बैठाई गई है इनके ऊपर. सो इन जुलाई 2018 एज वेल अ कंप्लेन वाज देयर फ्रॉम द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, जिन्होंने मीडिया रिपोर्ट से एलिज किया था कि कुछ इलीगल हार्वेस्टिंग हो रही है पर्सनल डेटा की. So the Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology has sought the clarification from the Facebook and Cambridge Analytica about their alleged violation. और अगर CBI की बात करें तो they have found Dr. Konga, he is a founder of GSRL, created the application, and the application was named as This is Young Digital Life, right? So this is Young Digital Life. So you have to remember this name because it can be important. Now authorization from the Facebook, as per the Facebook platform, the app was authorized to collect certain specific data for academic and research purposes. तो Facebook ने ये already कहा है अपने statement में कि हमने जो इनको approval दिया था that was only specifically meant for academic and research purposes, but the app has however illegally collected some unauthorized data of the users as well as their friends network on the Facebook. So this data was collected without knowledge and the consent of the user, and this is the complete violation of the right to privacy. Supreme Court has categorically stated that right to privacy is pivotal in India, and this has become one of the essential part of the fundamental rights. Now coming to the other news, that is this is from the Indian Express, talks about the new virus variant carry high risk of death. So the official confirmation coming from the Prime Minister Boris Johnson himself, and he confirmed that the new virus is of the higher risk category and number of the deaths is increases. So this is important for your General Studies paper 3 in the Science and Technology portion. So the British Prime Minister has said that the new variant of the COVID-19 may be associated with the high risk and the mortality. So the new variant was found to be discovered in London. So this was discovered in London. And the southeastern England to be associated with the high degree of mortality. A new mutation coronavirus की अगर बात करें, so this mutation was identified as N501Y, and this is likely to be the mutation of spike protein. जो मैंने आपको पहले भी अपने analysis में बताया है कि how they impact the spike protein. So suppose this is the spike protein, so they impact the spike protein, right? And in coronavirus, a spike protein that binds the human protein initiate the process of infection. So after which the infection started, and the changes could be possible affected after the virus behave in the terms of ability, जो सीवियर डिजीजेस को भी काउज करती है, जो हमारे इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स है वैक्सीन के अगेंस्ट उस पर काम नहीं करने देती है, राइट. सो दिस स्पाइक प्रोटीन हैज अ वेरी क्रूशियल रोल टू प्ले इन टर्म्स ऑफ द डेथ ऑफ द वायरस एंड activating the overall vaccine efficacy. Now, what is the vaccine efficacy? The Prime Minister has already said कि ये जो evidence आई है, so vaccine remain effective against all odds and the new variants. और जो data publish की गई थी उसके मुताबिक 5.3 million people has already been given the first dose of the vaccine, and 40895 receiving the past 24 hour has a record high. So the cases in UK is coming to normal, but this is the second spike that UK has seen, and in light of that the precaution has already been taken. Some of the restriction is already there. Lockdown was also enacted by the government. So government is taking all action so that this spread of the virus could be stopped at the earliest. Now, announced new restriction. England and Scotland has allowed a new restriction on January 4 to stem the surge of the virus that is fully and highly transmissible in the new variant of coronavirus, and which has led to the record number of death and infection in this month, right? So the latest estimate shows that the health ministry suggests कि जो numbers है infections जो है that is shining by from 1% to 4% a day. So you can see this number is increasing. Earlier it used to be 1%. Now this is 4%, right? So every time the cases is getting surged and government is taking action, they are imposing some restriction so that the cases can be stopped. Now talking about the other part, that is new framework around the caste and census. So this is a news that talks about the new part and the census that would be coming up. So census of India is one of the largest exercise of its kind, and it's enumerate the collect demographic and social economic information on the Indian populations, right? So census thus provide a portrait about the Indian population, while SCC is a tool to identify beneficiaries of the state support. Now talking about the census of the colonial era took place in 1881, and that has evolved over the time. The census has been used by the government as a policy maker, academicians and other to capture the Indian population. It assess the resources to map the social changes. एंड बात करें अगर 1940s की, तो उस टाइम पे WWM यीट्स थे जिन्होंने सेंसस कमिश्नर ऑफ इंडिया उनको बनाया गया था. एंड द सेंसस हैज़ पॉइंटेड आउट कि ये जो सेंसस होगी दिस हैज़ अ इमेंस पावर बट ब्लंट इंस्ट्रूमेंट यूटिलाइज इन द स्पेशलाइज्ड इंक्वायरी. सो उस टाइम पे जो सेंसस हैं वो पॉलिसी फार्मुलेशन में या और सारी चीज़ों में बहुत हद तक मदद करती थी. नाउ सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस एग्रीगेटेड सेंसस डेटा शोज कि जो शेड्यूल कास्ट है एंड इवन the parameter of the education would be there. So talking about the other part, this would require the SCC जो 2000 खास करके अगर बात करें 11 में की गई है. So in that following decades and debate was associated, एक debate की गई थी जहाँ पे social economic caste census 2011 में जब चीज़ें conduct हुई. So it was given a distinct exercise because it was a very lengthy process. और SECC Social Economic and Caste Census है which collected the first figure on the caste census operated in 1931, which is the largest exercise of enumeration of the caste. Now it has potential to allow the mapping of the inequalities and the broader level. और मेजर क्या क्या concerns है? It would be distinctions to ignore an emotive element of the caste, political and social repercussion of the caste census. The other concern is whether the institutions such as caste and even capture the completely of the census. These are some of the major concerns that has been highlighted in this editorial. The question remains whether SEC जो है that is able to overcome the effects of the caste, aspects of the Indian and social structure everyday life. इस तरह के जो सेंसस है उससे गवर्नमेंट क्या क्या चीज़ें सीख सकती है पॉलिसी के लिए. सो सेवरल डिस्कशन ऑन द कास्ट डेटा हैज़ ऑलरेडी बीन एग्जिस्टेड. लिंकेजेस की अगर बात करें तो लिंकेजेस और सिंक्रोनाइजेशन जो है जो सेंसस की डेटा है और जो खास करके नेशनल सैम्पल सर्वे की डेटा, नेशनल फैमिली हेल्थ सर्वे की डेटाज हैं, इनको इंटीग्रेट किया जा सकता है गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी फॉर्मुलेशन में. And there needs to be a closer engagement between all stakeholder and census of the socio-economic and caste census. Now, before another SEC conducted, stocking of the previous exercise of what has been learned from what changes are necessary and crucial to enable the census effectively and policy work, right? So these are the roadmap that again government has to take, and essentially this would be very essential once government program is coming up. जो भी budget आ रही है उसमें भी इस तरह के data को link किया जा सकता है, so that the actual beneficiaries of the depressed class or the people who need this should be actually benefited. People from, especially from the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and the other backward castes need to be benefited from these kind of data that government already had. Now coming to the answers for the yesterday question. For the first question, the correct answer is B, that Earth Hour is observed on the last Saturday of the March every year, and Earth Hour was started by 2007 by the World Wildlife Fund of the Nature. Now for the second question, 6th century BC, beginning of the new religious social movement in the Gangetic plain in the form of Buddhism and Jainism, which were the part of the Sharmina tradition. So this is the correct answer, that is B. So MCQ's question of the day, the first question that we are asking is Indian polity with reference to Article 21. Consider the following statement. It was inserted by 42 Amendment Act of the Constitution, and it provide for the free compulsory education of all children at the stage and the group of 6 to 12, right? So what you have to do, you have to choose the correct option A, B, C, D and write your answer in the comment section down below. Now coming to the second question from the modern history, the practice of murdering female intercides was among the lower caste of the Rajputs, and the Bengal regulation of 1975 declared incentivized illegal and equivalent to murder. So this is like you have to choose the correct option A, B, C, D and write your answer in the comment section down below. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Aptitude Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. And if you like this video, do not forget to give a thumbs up. If you have any other concern, do let us know. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Wish you all the best. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much.